これは謎を解かない、推理をしない名探偵ホームズのお話。
Hey people, and welcome to a special edition of Who's That Anime?
It's bonus time.
It's bonus time because one of us hasn't been able to make it to the normal time.
No, I have been sick.
Um,
On the plus side, though, this is sort of the way this will come out is sort of a nice. This should come out in a nice natural break between when Ghost Stories wraps up and when our next in between that and our next full season starting up.
yeah. Which will be, well, will be when this is aired.
Yeah,
This will be aired at some point in the future
very much so.
from when we're recording
In
this.
fact, well, at the future will be the present for you, the people watching this.
Yes. Welcome to the present future.
Yeah,
Let's see how
it's wild. It's wild out there.
yeah.
So I jokingly said to you, Colin, I thought that we should do a thing I'd done very little research into.
Again.
Which is, yeah.
That-
I got stuck up on one picture of this and went, oh, in fact, I say one picture. I got stuck up on the title of this.
Vampire Holmes.
Yeah. It's like ticks all my boxes. It's like mystery and thriller and horror all in one. Because he's like a Dracula who solves crimes, except that's not what the show is about at all.
Wait, he's a Dracula that solves crimes?
No, he's nothing. Like this is. Well, we should probably start as well. Is that again? I thought that what we might do is like it would maybe be like a handful of episodes, which it is anyway. That we could maybe take a couple of weeks and just do for a laugh.
Yes.
And then it turned out you messaged me and you're like, do you know that there's like 10 episodes of this and that they're 2 minutes long each? It's like, oh, so we can fit an entire podcast into one episode of Ghost Stories pretty much.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, it turns out that there's a really handy-dandy YouTube video that not only makes this, I would say readable, but that would be generous. The written dub for this is hard going at the best of times.
Yes.
Such as Why You Floor.
I missed that.
Why You Floor. It's why Sleep. There's like a big conversation where most of the pertinent information in the sentence is being inferred by me going, I think he means this.
It is quite quick. That's actually technically the first episode, I believe.
It is. It's in fact, it's literally the first thing that happens. But the other great part about this, I suppose, is that this is another thing that I seem to have pulled out a gem from nowhere because didn't do any research, just saw the title and went, "This is the one." Turns out it's less than every episode is less than the length of one episode of what we normally do. And even better than that is it's an anime based on a mobile game.
Yes, because you know that's going to be good.
It's not even like an anime based on anything. Like, I would take an anime that just got created over an anime based from a mobile game.
I'm sure that's happened before. There's certainly anime been created out of games, or there's anime it's ran side by side by games. For example, Dot Hack Sign had
Really? Was
a
that one of
couple.
those?
Yeah, it had like 4 or 5 games came out the PS2, and I
Yeah.
think one came out the PS3. Um, and it had like maybe 2 anime series which are completely different, essentially, and different characters, different things. Like the one I remember watching was essentially there was this kid who kind of found himself in the game, and he got to like some area of the game that you shouldn't got been able to access, and it's all like a virtual reality. It's basically Sword Art Online before Sword Art Online type sort
Is it
of
reboot?
reboot. No, it's not even reboot.
It sounds like basically like reboot.
Oh, oh no! This kid was, I think, is actually got trapped in the game because it's all like a virtual thing. It's all avatars
Oh,
essentially,
okay.
and
Okay.
then he kind of wanders around doing things because he's lost all his memory of what he actually is. Uh, and turns out he's in a coma in the real world,
Oh wow, it's
or
Dallas basically.
or she.
It
There.
turns out that he's a she and also has been in a coma.
Yeah. She plays
Holy
a
shit.
male avatar, I think. And
Oh
yeah,
wow. Okay. Huh.
I kind of liked it, and then most people didn't like it. That was the one I remember. That was Sign because it was dot hack slash stuff. I think it
Yeah, I
changes.
remember those.
Anyway,
That was during the period of every anime should have an incomprehensible name. This is
uh,
when we started getting like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex pack 2 giga something something something.
yeah, you got to have that technical name in it and all that.
Oh, I mean, this is further evidenced by the release of what is it? Near a new release.
Oh, Near
The,
Automata, but not that
it,
one.
it's the
Replicant.
old one. It's Near Gestalt. It's the remake of Near Gestalt.
Yeah, Near Replicant.
Yes, Near Replicant 2.113529562555. Like it's again incomprehensible decimal point number for no good reason.
Yeah. Why does it pop up down
In-
here?
Interestingly, though,
Mhm.
um, it turns out that near the game Near is linked to the Drakengard series
Yep. Yeah.
by but one ending.
Yes. Yeah.
That
Who was I watch?
that's very obscure.
That's it's fairly obscure, but I was watching like something way like when Automata came out or
Yeah,
Automata. Anyway,
eh, let's call the whole thing
tomatoes.
off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was watching a video about the story plot line behind it all, and it went like from talked about through the Draken like thing, and there's like different twists and turns, and it kind of like there's a couple ends I think or something in it that creates up to the near universe that you got, and
Yep,
then
the fallen god that then goes on to create
yeah,
everything in the near universe.
oh those games had multiple endings and playthroughs
Oh
of them
yeah,
all.
I,
So
I remember there being like ending AA and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I see.
yeah, and not to mention there was one particular ending in the original Nier where
Yeah,
if you got it, it would apparently wipe your save as it. It's like, yeah, you did it, you completed the game, bye bye. Got to do all that
that's
again, put like 40 hours, oh no, 100 hours or something into the game just for that. I believe Kirsty was
that's,
actually
ver-
talking about that.
that's very much like Kojima's idea of so when you die, what if we just deleted your save?
Yeah,
Or like even better, what if the game exploded and you had to buy another one?
I don't even talk about that. Apparently, there was a media for DVDs to burn themselves out or something like that. Or some
Oh no,
abs-
it's not. It's not a disc rot.
Yeah, not just this rock. It was actually like they were generally meant to be like used a couple of times for the.
Oh man,
I don't know. I was watching some other YouTube channel. What's his name? Was it
using Techmoon, was it?
Techmon?
Yeah.
No, no, it was an American guy.
Oh, okay.
He does all these things. He's talked about downfalls of like traffic lights, LED traffic lights over other things, how they're brighter and stuff, and they don't heat up in the winter, so they don't naturally melt
Oh,
ice off the front of the lights. Like
interesting.
he's in America and probably one of the northern states or middle states. He also did something about dishwashers and how um, you're washing dishes wrong in the sense that you're meant to have like uh pre-wash substance. Some washing machines always have like two pockets to put stuff in,
Uh huh.
and the first wash cycle doesn't actually. If you don't fill the pre-wash, the first wash cycle of it doesn't actually do anything but spray like hot water into the dishes. Where the next couple of cycles will use the powder as in the actual main bit. And you like cut a hole in like a dishwasher just to demonstrate the difference in the wash.
Man, that's like one of those. You've been eating an avocado wrong your whole life, and then it's just somebody inserting one into their ear.
Yeah,
Like, just yeah, that seems right. Thank you for showing me.
it's almost as good as put cotton bud swabs in the ear to clean out the earwax.
I did see something where they were talking about using metal implements to do that, and it's like, yeah, because we all know that cotton buds are probably not a good idea in themselves. But what we should do is like jam very small, sharp, and
But
razor blade like implements into our ears instead.
yeah, yeah, I think they're designed to scrape this thing out where the cotton buds just kind of pack it into your brain more. It's pretty much
It's
that's too
just a
much.
big hook to remove your brain, much like the one they used to remove your brain through your nose in ancient Egyptian times.
Yeah, seems like a good plausible thing. Anyway, uh, we
What were we
digress.
talking? What were we here for? Oh yeah, Vampire Homes.
Vampire Holmes. That's why we came here today. That's like 10 minutes of nothing but
Yeah,
something else. Anyway,
nothing
um,
but the finest segues to and non sequiturs.
yes, that was good. I liked it. Anyway, should we get into like maybe the quote
Yeah,
first episode?
I, I don't like. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I know them by episode. I just kind of know what's happening sometimes.
Yeah, well, the first episode seemed the most coherent that I remember.
Did it though? Did it though? Because it's the one, it's the one I understood the least of the subtitles.
Yeah, but it wasn't really much in it in the sense of this guy comes to Holmes's door. Not Watson, not Dr. Watson.
No,
It was some guy,
Hudson,
Hudson. Yeah,
Hudson.
Hudson, as well. Yeah, it's all in Japanese.
Yeah,
So yeah, Hudson comes to the door and says, "Oh, being asked to come to you to solve this mystery that no one else can solve," type thing. But he knocks the door, opens the door, and then promptly stands on something and on the floor, and he goes, "What the hell?"
yep.
And then Holmes is lying on the floor, and he says, "Why are you sleeping there?" It's like, and then Holmes interrogates Hudson and saying that if he's drunk or not.
No, I thought it was the other way around.
It would make more sense if it was the other way around, but I thought it was
I agree. It definitely seemed like that. I thought Hudson was saying, "It's like, what are you, a fucking alcoholic or something?"
something
And
like
he's
that.
like,
Yeah,
"No, I haven't had a drink." Or like, what was the other thing he used to be like? Because he says like, because only losers sleep on the ground.
something like that. Yeah.
It's it's pretty absurd. Um, but Hudson has come to bring him the case
Yes, the case that he's working on.
that we don't really know much about.
Something about some missing persons case.
Yep.
Some girl's been missing and no one can solve the mystery, so they brought it to Holmes. Vampire Holmes.
Why is he called Vampire Holmes though? Like why?
I think it all comes clear in the last episode. The
Does it
last two
though?
episodes.
Does it?
They do. They do like Hudson working it all out. And it like
No,
goes back to like
you know what? No,
everything's
don't spoil
mythos.
it. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah, he's like, yo, Holmes, you're like a genius detective and stuff. Maybe you can maybe you can solve this case. And he's like, okay, I'll take the case.
Something
And
like
that's kind of the first episode, I think.
might be the first two episodes.
I think the second episode opens with him saying something like, "My face is fused to the floorboard. I don't think I'll be getting up," or something equally stupid.
Yeah, it's hard to describe it when it needs a couple of watchings and it's only 25 minutes long, the whole thing.
Yeah,
And I only really
I've
watched
watched
it
it 2.5 times,
once.
and I am no closer to understanding what it is.
Yes.
It- but
I
he basically is he's basically sort of chastising him for being lazy when he should be out. He's like, you know, where's my food? Where's my damn food? I'm hungry. And he's like, well, you're poor. You're poor because you don't work hard enough and you don't solve cases. We need to be out doing things. And he's like, I don't want to.
yeah, it's too bright out.
Yeah, and this is the bit where it goes into the explanation of him. He's like, yeah, I'm quite sensitive to the sun.
Yeah.
But not a vampire. He's just sensitive to the sun.
Yeah. And then there was he's got a landlady.
Oh, Christina.
Yeah. Who kind of marches in and goes, got to pay your rent, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that type thing.
Yeah.
Can you hold it off? And he's like, no type thing.
The noise of her approaching, is it the Elisabetta Apartments or something like that, I think is the name of his, where he's staying. And it's just this kind of with every footstep.
Yeah.
She like comes in going this really, really pissed off and angry demon woman, who then, when he says no, she pile drives him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She shouts, "Christina, pile drive!" Pile drives him into the floorboards.
Yeah, that's right. I think it says embeds into the floorboards, and he gets slapped by the girls downstairs, calling him a pervert.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a pervert.
And
Oh,
then
it's so stupid.
Hudson pulls him out. He's got big slap
He
marks.
does. But then there's a scene, and there's this undertone throughout most of the entire series, most of the 25 minutes of episodes, of like this kind of subtext of attraction between Holmes and Hudson for some reason. Because there's like a scene where they're like standing at the door, I think in this episode as well, and he's like, "What is it? What is it?" And they're just like staring at each other, and he's like, "I think I found what I'm looking for." He just like takes his pen and is like, "I've solved the case," and just starts stamping up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, "Was this a difficult case for you to solve?" So no cases are difficult to solve.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly because he doesn't ever solve any cases. He doesn't take them. He doesn't do any work. So
No, he doesn't. And then further along the lines, you see him drawing on a blackboard, a house.
yeah, it's a bedroom. He's
Oh,
drawing a bedroom on the blackboard.
And he says, "This is how I want my bedroom to look."
He
Like,
thinks he's working. He thinks he's like, oh, he's trying to figure something out. He's like, this is exactly what I want my room to look like.
yeah. Yeah.
Just every time he does anything, it's just followed by just absolute disappointment from Hudson's perspective. Is like, how can the world's greatest detective be so shit?
He's
Like
not.
everything.
He's not the world's greatest
He's not
detective.
shit, or he's not the world's great detective.
Oh, this is Vampire Holmes, not Sherlock Holmes.
But even he claims he's supposed to be this amazing detective. That's why he comes to him. How did he get a reputation for being good when he never does anything?
Just pretty good flyers. Haven't you learned anything, dude?
God, I forgot about
Oh yeah, yeah, there's pretty good flyers.
it's like this thing is so stupid, and like that the flyers was genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my damn life.
It's just a terrible, crude drawing. Was it of a cat or something?
It was a picture of a cat. It was a very badly drawn picture of a cat.
Oh,
It's like maybe we should advertise, to try and get more business. He's like, oh, I've tried that. It's like with like flyers. He's like, yes, here, observe my flyers. It's like these are nothing to do. Like it's there's a bit where it's like looking at the flyer and he says it's like it goes 30%. 30% of what? There's no mention of anything. It doesn't say what we do or what, and then it looks down on it, and there's like a line that's a third of the way across the page, and it points to it and says maybe this is the 30% it's referring to.
yeah, yeah.
There are some really great jokes in this show. It's terrible. Like I will make no mixed words. It is absolutely atrocious. But man, sometimes I really laughed hard.
That's
And
considered.
yeah, that flyer scene was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she should also mention at this point. Now we mentioned the cat. There is also a talking cat in this.
That the introduction of the cat is also one of my favorite bits.
Oh, that guy, he just like walked in and was like, cat.
Did you see that white object?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't see anything. And then just like, and then the cat appears and just sits on Hudson's head.
Yeah. And then speaks.
Yep, and then says this will be an interesting place for a nap. And then Hudson has a proper meltdown.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to mention the dog as well, actually.
Oh, the dog
It's
disappeared.
this big, enormous dog that he takes out to try and help him. It just like carries him around like a lunatic.
Yeah, and the animation part is so good.
So, as you can see in this picture, for those of you actually watching the video for this, like we have the sort of chibi Vampire Homes
You need
in the
to go
bottom
that
corner.
way. That way.
I do that way.
No, no,
That
that way.
way?
That way.
There we go. And it kind of flips between this really self-serious. It reminded me actually a lot of Trigun, in certain aspects. Not so much with like the deformation of the characters or anything like that, but more the facial expressions, like going from uber serious to very just innocent and playful and jokey.
Yeah.
Um, but man, the dog is pretty hilarious. In that, yeah, it just drags him around. I don't think there's any controlling it.
No, it just seems to go. I think it ran away. That's like in episode 3 or 4.
I
Think
think
he'll.
so.
I think he's somehow lets it go and just runs because it's like who uses the dog to find? Because do they not have like a scent of like the person they're looking for? And it says we'll send a dog out to find it.
Maybe it all blurs together so much.
It is, and
And
it's so random. Well,
yes, it is. Because I think after the bit with the cat, this is where it sort of comes in with the bit about did they not like go down to the docks or something like that to pick up a box?
yeah. Well, they go down. They go down to the docks. Holmes says, "Let's go on a walk to Hudson."
Yes, because
In that
I have something to
undertone.
do in that area.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. First he holds a gun to Hudson's face
Oh,
in the
yeah.
office.
Yeah.
Trust exercise. Um,
That's
He
from
just
again.
decides a good idea for whatever reason that is.
He asked him some obtuse question.
He does. Now, what is that question? Because of course he can't answer,
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Well, I'm going to pull the trigger,"
yeah.
and he pulls the trigger, and like the little cap goes off, and the little ticker tape parade comes out the end and drops the little flag that says "a bullet for you" or something like that.
Something along the line, yeah. Bullet fired.
Yeah, it's it's real dumb, but also very in keeping with the character that I've come to understand Vampire Holmes is, which is just a catastrophic asshole.
Uh, he's not the worst.
I don't know. He's pretty bad.
He is pretty bad, but I've watched Teen Titans Go. He's not the worst.
I like Teen Titans Go.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that they're complete dicks in that episode. They're worse than the villains all the time.
They are. You're right. They super are.
They're like the worst superheroes ever. They're like, I suppose, a less self-serious version of probably what's it called? That thing I haven't watched yet. It's on Amazon with superheroes. And
Doom Squad, Doom Patrol.
no, the other one. The one where it's like there's elite superheroes and they kind of control the world type thing, and then uprising.
Oh, the boys.
The boys. That's it. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's premised around what if superheroes were dicks.
Yeah. There was a
Um,
evil Superman film.
I was just talking today about the Teen Titans Go movie.
Which one?
Seen the first one, Teen Titans Go to the movies.
I'll go to the movies.
Uh, and the bit that gets me every single time, and it is possibly the biggest childish joke in the entire movie, is when they're on the film set and they're all just taking turns shitting in the prop toilet on the film set. And being really happy about it. And her being like, it was like, "Oh, so you pooped in the prop toilet. Great. Awesome. Thanks for that." It's just, it's such a nothing thing, but makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's real dumb.
Yeah.
It's real dumb. You're right. I suppose that it could be far worse.
Yeah.
But so they end up walking down to the docks, and then they have an encounter.
Yeah, someone shoots a gun at them.
Yeah, with the armed gentleman, and eventually they end up in sort of a bit of a standoff. With Hudson being kind of held hostage, I guess,
Yeah. Was
by this
Hudson
guy.
not- Was he held hostage by the guy?
Yeah, because is he not like he creeps up behind him and holds the gun to his head? That's how the whole standoff ensues.
Yeah, and then Holmes pulls out his gun.
which we all know how this is going to go, but not before then. Of like, he says, "Put down your gun or I'll hurt your friend." And he's like, "I really don't care." It's like, you can shoot him, whatever, and then like starts threatening the guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Like he like super has a go at him, and then accidentally pulls the trigger on his fake gun.
Really? Yeah, it's like, oops.
Oh my god. It's pretty good. But then the bit I didn't understand is of course that happens, and then they realize, of course, it's not a real gun; it's a fake gun.
Yeah.
And then the guy kind of falls over.
Yeah. I think in the heat of distraction, Holmes somehow hits him there.
Yeah, it's very unclear.
Yeah, and then once you both fall down, Holmes kind of gets up,
Uh huh.
And then doesn't he state something like he hurt himself somehow or something?
He says like he's like, Holmes, are you okay? And he's like just lying on the ground. He's like, I'm anemic or something like that. It's like, what? What is even happening here?
Yeah, it's unsure, and then they uncover the box. Like this,
Uh,
that's like the end of the
what's,
episode, I think, and then it goes
what's the box called?
uh,
It's
distortion or something.
the distortion box. That's it. Because
Yeah.
then we open up and we get to the next episode where we open the distortion box.
Yes. Mm. Oh, we
Um,
should also mention that the landlady is technically built like a ship brick house. Was it?
yes, yeah, she is, and also I think at this point potentially has been in a relationship and is no longer in a relationship with Hudson due to the fact that Holmes basically is like, oh, you can be my rent boy and not, I don't want to pay rent anymore. And Christina says that she'll ignore all my back pay and give me free rent for a year if you maybe go out with her.
I honestly never read any of the subtitles.
I just, it's just like it wouldn't help.
No,
It wouldn't help at all.
doesn't help.
Like, no, it doesn't help at all. Yeah, it's just funny because he's just basically, all of a sudden pimping out his friend.
Yeah.
It's like, I really, what's really great? Oh, he's talking about heaven and hell. That's what it is. Do you know what heaven would be? Heaven would be not paying rent for a year. And he's like, you're right, that would be heaven. He's like, so maybe you could help me. Maybe you could help me not pay rent for a year, and also avoid paying all these back pays I have to. But they end up back at I guess the Elisabetta Lod, whatever it's called, the Elisabetta Apartments or whatever they're called,
Hmm.
and I think the cat's like, you probably shouldn't open up the box, and he's
Yeah.
like, you're right, I should open the box, and then just does open the box,
Yes. And then
and a pink cloud flies out.
yep. And then everyone's kind of all started.
Yep.
Holmes gets kind of made into like a castle painting thing. Rembrandt.
Yeah, I think Picasso-y,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, he's like all square and shit.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of those. And the cat comes realistic because the cat is just a big pile of circles, really. And then it's like
Yes.
super realistic. And then you don't see what Hudson comes like.
Christina appears and she's now beautiful
Yep.
and very upset about what Hudson's turned into
Yes. And Hudson's like,
that we never see.
never see.
Oh god, this show is so stupid. Like, there's no cohesion in any of this. Like, in any of it,
No.
it's
No.
it's just a random occurrence of it. You could have told me that these were the cutscenes from the game spliced together.
It could possibly be we had done no research.
We have. It very well could be that. Like, I could very well believe that this is how this is.
This is a mobile game.
It is. It's not even. It's not even a console game. It's an iOS and Android game.
It's unlikely to have all the cutscenes in it.
I don't know. Some, like, particularly games from the East had a lot of high quality cutscene and storyboarding. So,
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
but you know, I think you're right though. I would doubt that this was the level of effort they went to.
This game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems unlikely. So yeah, I think that's the end of that episode.
Yeah, I think they closed the box and everything turns back to normal.
Yeah,
Or they just left it and that's it. And everything turns back to normal next episode. There's no rhyme or reason.
No. And
Uh,
then, like, this is us pretty much closing in on the end of what Vampire Holmes is.
yes.
And it sort of it starts with a conversation with Holmes and Hudson, where Holmes is like very wistfully looking up at the moon and saying, "I'm going to go for a walk," and then he goes for a walk, and Hudson's very upset about the fact he's no longer in the office.
Yeah. Well, you told him I'm going to walk, and husband's like, "I'll come with you." He's like, "No, I gotta go alone."
Yep,
Type thing.
go on one of my moonwalks.
Yeah. And then the cat tells him, "Yeah, you best not to," and then he's kind of
Yeah,
gone. And
things get weird.
yeah, only for like an episode or two.
But he's just not there, and then he is there.
Hey, he's back
He's
and
back,
solved the case.
and he's solved the case that we haven't spoken about. Haven't spoken about since the first episode.
Yes. Yes, literally, that's like 12 episodes in, and literally the case has not been mentioned at all since the first and last episode.
And then like it's this sort of weird absurdist backpedaling dialogue of it's like, wait, maybe he is a genius. Like, look at this newspaper article. It's like, this is the bedroom from the newspaper article. This is what he was drawing on the board.
Yeah,
It's like maybe he was solving this whole case without letting anybody know.
yeah, maybe. It was don't forget we also mentioned that werewolves were mentioned at some point.
Oh,
Well,
that's right.
and he had a silver bullet, I believe.
He did.
And he had a mysterious picture of a girl, which I think maybe was his lover back in the day.
Maybe.
I think
That's
that
never
was,
super clear either.
yeah, well, nothing's clear in this thing.
No.
And yeah, so they do this weird elaborate backpedaling, and they go, "Oh wait, wow,
What a genius. And then it's like actually he says something like really dumb and then he's like, wait, maybe he's not. Maybe he is just terrible. And
yeah,
it's like maybe this is still a problem. And of course, while he was on his walk with his dog that has returned randomly, the cat's reading the paper going, it's like, no, it says a person with a dog was seen on the property at the time of this. And you're like, wait a minute, hang on. What is the implication here that he's just such a great detective that hit the greatest trick that this detective ever pulled was making everyone believe he was the worst detective in the world?
yeah." I think so.
I'm so angry that that's the answer here.
Why?
Essentially, it's like well because it's here's 3 minutes of exposition followed by 19 minutes of nonsense,
Mhm.
followed by 3 minutes of exposition.
Uh-huh.
It's like but they never mentioned it. Was just essentially like they were pushing. It's like, so how do we actually solve this? Because we've already set up that he's terrible at his job. And he's maybe an alcoholic and maybe hates his life, and he's a bit of a lunatic. He might be a vampire. We're not really sure. Maybe he's a werewolf too now. Apparently, maybe we don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, we don't know. It's like, maybe we should. Oh, okay, we're on episode 10, guys. Maybe we should try and think about how this goes now. It's like, I don't know. Just do a couple more episodes of shit, and then, like, at the end, we'll just be like, oh, look, the case is solved. How's it solved? It's like, well, because he's actually really good.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
This is the anime, like, equivalent of the guys on the street who have got the card under one of the cups and are just going like, whoa, because the answer's in there somewhere, and you're always going to be disappointed when you find it.
Yeah, they just switched it.
Yep, because they've cheated.
They're not cheated, man. They had like bits in like the other episodes that you had to like keep an eye on, like the house,
Did
the
they though?
bedroom, and on the board, and
Yeah,
in
but that's all
newspaper articles.
retroactive. I genuinely think that those were just things that I don't think they had any clue. They had no idea how to end this.
So, what I would come out because this is obviously that anime for like the mobile game, Vampire
Yeah.
Holmes. How do you think that game played?
I hope, because the only way I can ever imagine it working is that it was basically a text-based adventure.
Oops, breaking it all.
I hope to God, it was a text-based adventure.
Let's see what Vampire Holmes is. Vampire
I mean,
Holmes. Okay.
just can't. I refuse to believe it's anything else but that.
Wow. It's got a 5 out of 5 on QOO app, whatever that is.
Yep, that should tell you all you need to know.
3.4 out of 10 myamulist.net, and 20% on
Anime.
20% on AniList. Platform maybe it is the screenshot of the game.
I hope not. I don't want to have ruined it for myself.
Vampire Holmes is a Japanese smartphone game developed by Kurui.
Kurui.
Started service on November 13, 2014. A short TV anime series premiered in Japan on TVK
Like
on
April of the following year.
Yeah, the game original creator Yoshimu Shinya voices the protagonist and writes the theme song for the anime. Wow.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
This is something.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how do you rate it out of 10, Colin?
This anime, it's an absolute mess. But it entertained me more in Ghost Stories.
Yes. I think there were more laughs per
Yeah,
capita.
more or less, and less shocking, shocking racist remarks.
It's funny, I was about to say casual racism, but there's nothing casual about it. This business racism. They're just they're on the fucking clock with that shit in
Yeah.
Ghost Stories.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 4
I was thinking exactly the same.
because
Uh,
there's no cohesion in the story, but
Nope.
you can't really rate it on that. It was funny, and it
Yep.
was 25 minutes long. So
I give it extra points for being short.
yeah, go and watch it because you know it wouldn't make anything else in 3-minute episodes. It's like webinars.
As I said, there were a couple of bits in this where I genuinely laughed. Like I had to stop it, pause it, and have a good laugh, so that I didn't miss the next subtitles.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, geez.
Yeah, this is real dumb, but it was good fun.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's all fun.
So
Hmm.
we have. By the time you're hearing this, we'll have finished up Ghost Stories.
Yes.
This episode, I believe, will air and be available by podcast On the
Ninth?
let me find it.
9th?
The 9th, is it?
Yeah, if we're going to do it as an in between.
Yes. Oh no, yes, that's right. This will be on the 9th. Our last episode of Ghost Stories will have been on the 2nd, and then moving on to our new series, which we'll probably talk about on Sunday, the 2nd.
Yeah, on
You'll
Sunday.
already know by now, but I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't, because
Wait, shouldn't and then we talk about it because this will be the week in the future from the 2nd.
Yeah, but what if they watch this one first?
Wait, what? Just going back in time and watch things.
What if they don't watch the last episode of Ghost Stories and then watch this and then we spoil it?
Well, I can't spoil the ghost stories. I've not watched them yet. I haven't anyway.
No. Well, I've watched them. I'm going to have to rewatch them now because I've forgotten.
Yeah, like
So
see, ghost stories is just I don't know. It's just not entertaining.
ultimately forgettable.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, that happened. Oh, and then the English dub they went and made some casual business racist remark.
If nothing else, they put their foot down and went, "We are going to be very racist."
Yep.
I would. It's like, please don't try and stop us. This is how this show is going to be.
Yeah.
We are going to hopefully play this for laughs.
And not get sued.
Some of that will be successful, maybe. Some of it will be very unsuccessful.
Yeah.
We will see. So yeah, we let's not talk about the new season until we're doing our live broadcast,
Okay.
because then we can do a proper reveal rather than a bits and pieces one.
Yeah. That's fair. Right. Well, that's been who's that anime?
Special bonus episode.
Yeah. With your host Steve and Colin. Ooh, who's me?
Yeah,
That's me.
this guy.
This guy right here.
We should try and probably do little palate cleansers in between our main shows.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I feel like Golden Boy wasn't long enough to become a problem before we started on Ghost Stories, but Ghost Stories, I'm starting to feel it. So,
all right. Palette cleansers. Like Vampire Holmes.
yep.
All right, we need to.
The shorter, the dumber, the better.
Yeah. If you got any recommendations, don't feel free to add to your comment section on the podcast.
Yep. We're also on Facebook. You can find us if you look for Who's That Anime. We're on Anchor.fm. We are on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, Google Podcasts. We have quite a quite a listener base in the US. Apparently, that most of our listeners are there. Apparently, so hello.
Good. Hello to the States.
We haven't quite gotten to Canada. We only have like maybe one listener from there. So the Great White North only has that one person. So
That sounds quite racist.
it does. It wasn't full business racist, but yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
You.
And Colin also does some streaming on twitch.tv, which is where you'll be watching this if you are watching on Twitch, where Colin also streams some games on Monday nights.
Yeah, sometimes. I've done it a
What are you
while.
playing at the moment?
Rival Girls. Rival Girls? Rival Girls.
Sounds right.
It's meant to be like this kind of sequel to one of the I beat 'em up on the NES thing.
Fair enough.
Only it's girls instead of the dudes that was in it. I don't know. How look. I've got it here. I haven't played it in a while, so I forget. River City Girls. That's it.
River City Girls. Okay.
So instead of River City, and don't think of the soap. It's not nothing to do with the soap that's over here in the
And by
UK.
soap, you should probably say soap opera,
Soap opera. Okay, yeah, nothing to do with
just in
that's
case.
nothing to do with like a soap brand or a soap opera.
No.
Um, but yeah, there's River Cities. Is a soap opera in the UK, but this is nothing to do with that. This is to do with the River
No,
City Games. Uh,
like River City Ransom, I assume.
yeah, very. Yeah, so it's essentially a sequel to that.
Oh, okay.
Where our prequel. Anyway, instead of the girls getting kidnapped, which I think is what City Ransom was all about. Never played it.
Yep.
The boys get captured, and you're fighting with the girls. They're equally as violent, and they go around beating
Fantastic.
everyone up. Yeah.
Sweet. So we, if you're like say if you're watching this, you'll be watching this probably on the second or somewhere after that. We're gonna begin our new series in the new week. Hopefully, you'll go back and listen to Golden Boy and our final episode, and have listened to the final episode of Ghost Stories. I'm looking forward to wrapping a bow on that and never having to return.
What?
Nuking it from orbit.
No, man. You can't be serious.
I deadly.
I wouldn't wrap a bow in it. I would bury it in the ground 6 foot under, and then make sure it's never dug up again.
Hold it under the water until the bubbles stop.
Oof.
Yeah,
Sure,
that show needs to go.
that sounds like a
Hopefully,
line from
very
it.
soon though. Yeah, only a few more days, and we'll be done with it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Except for future us. Future us are already done with it. So
yes, we're already done with it. I mean,
sweet.
I think we're already done with it 4 episodes in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Right,
guys.
I guess we will see you next time then.
Yep.
For another episode of Who's That Anime?
Yep. We'll see you then. Bye,
Bye,
people.
folks.
Bye.
これだ。何ですかこれ。
近所のガキが描いたと思われる猫の絵をマスコットにした。
これじゃあ来ません。
2枚目はこれ。
何から 30% 引き？楽しいって何が楽しいんですか？何のチラシか全くわからないです。
楽しいだろ。
楽しくないです。あ、30% って線の長さのことですか？
そうだ。
真面目に考えた僕がバカでした。
楽しいだろ？
ええ、わかりづらいチラシの内容を推理して当てたので微妙に楽しいです。